you've been in an auto accident. You may be wondering, what type of medical treatment do I actually need after this auto accident? So it all starts at the scene of the accident, right? And the insurance companies are going to value your claim based on what type of medical treatment and how much your medical bills are. So from the scene of the accident, if you feel like it's an emergency, call an ambulance. Have an ambulance take you to the hospital. And that would be, step one. If you don't feel like you need an ambulance, then, you don't need an ambulance. So after that, you're left with the decision of, do I go to a hospital? So if it's an emergency, you might decide you want to go to a hospital, or if you, are feeling some very extreme pain and you want to go get checked out, you might go to a hospital. You might also decide to go to an urgent care. So urgent cares will see auto accident victims a lot of times. And if it goes beyond that, you're going to look at, what about my primary care doctor? Should I go check in with my primary care doctor? I think in Florida, you're going to find that a lot of primary care doctors are not going to see auto accident patients. They're going to try to refer you out to somebody. And so a lot of these companies that they come in and, they're trying to get business from these primary care doctors, and they're going to refer you out to some, what we call a pit mill or something like that, where they're going to send you and you're going to go get treatment at that place. That may be something you consider, but I would vet that referral, right? Look online, make sure they have good reviews, make sure you know who your doctor is going to be if your primary care is going to refer you out. But certainly, if you want to start with your primary care, start there. After that, you're going to have a choice, and most of the time, right, people, if the injuries are not catastrophic, they're going to start with the most conservative care that they can. And even if it's catastrophic, they may want to start as conservative as they can. That just may mean different things for different people. So the first level of care is usually physical therapy or chiropractic therapy. So these are non-invasive treatments that you can get to sort of just align yourself and make sure everything's working, do physical therapy to strengthen your muscles and try to get you back to where you were. After that, you're likely going to go for diagnostic imaging study, and that's usually an MRI and x-rays and things like that. Those are going to be objective medical findings that can show you what's really going on in, your shoulder or your knee or your neck or your low back or your head, right? Wherever they do the MRI, those are going to show what the injuries are. After that, they're going to send you out to a specialist. So the specialist, or they may not send you out to a specialist, you may find one on your own, but this is a doctor who focuses on either, a certain part of the body or a certain area of practice. So this could be like an anesthesiologist or a pain management doctor that you're going to go to try to get relief. These doctors usually offer things like epidural steroid injections or branch blocks followed by what's called radiofrequency ablations or other kinds of ablations. And then the step up from that is surgeons. So that's probably going to be hopefully your last stop is a surgeon. And you consult with a surgeon and they may say, oh, you have to have surgery. So that is ultimately, whether it's an arthroscopic shoulder surgery or what's called an anterior cervical discectomy and fusion, which is a neck surgery, or some kind of minimally invasive low back surgery. There's a lot of different options, a lot of different types of surgeries, but a surgeon will discuss that with you. So starting out from the most conservative to the most invasive, those are usually the type of treatments that we see in an auto accident case. Now, some people ask, can I get massage? Can I see the massage therapist? Can I see my acupuncturist? What about my yoga teacher? And these are all things that certainly they'll help you. An insurance company, honestly, is not going to put much value on them when they go to value a claim. But look, if it makes you feel better and it makes you, come out of pain and it makes you have a better process throughout your case, we're never going to tell you not to go get massage. We're never going to tell you not to go see an acupuncturist. We will make a claim for those things, and we will certainly try to get you reimbursed for them, but the insurance companies just don't look at those as like serious medical treatments. But certainly if they help, it's something that you want to consider. Finally, there are some new therapies that people have, stem cells being one of them. Defense attorneys and insurance companies like to fight you on stem cells, but we have seen people get results from them from the legal side. I don't know about medically, like all that goes into it, but that would be something that you might discuss with a doctor who gives stem cells. And then there's also all sorts of new up and coming therapies for brain injuries. So if you've been involved in a car accident or some other type of injury where you feel like you've sustained a traumatic brain injury or a concussion, there are therapies that you can get, and there are options out there. Most of the time you're going to want to see a neurologist for that, but that's a doctor that can really help you kind of diagnose whether or not you have a brain injury and then talk to you about treatment options. So again, these are just probably some of the treatments that you could have after an auto accident. There may be others that I'm not even considering here, but generally this is what we see in auto accident cases. So this is the type of medical treatment you can expect to receive after a car accident if you're trying to get better.